Welcome back. In this video, we're really going to start to dive into the different types of email and really the different categories that emails fall in. Not even types, but the different categories that all email, no matter who you are or how much email you send, every one of your emails will fall into one of these three categories. And we'll walk through the differences of each one, and I'll explain why it's so important that you use each one, and probably talk a little bit about why the most important one is the one that you're paying the least attention to. So hopefully by the end of this video, we won't be able to say that anymore. So let's dive in. The three types or different categories of email are: one, transactional; two, relational, which is going to be a lot of your content emails, which is very important. I see a lot of people skipping this step and not providing any content to their subscriber base, and I'll tell you that is not going to work moving forward. And the third and final is promotional. And this is the one that people focus the most of their efforts on, and I'm not even saying that's wrong, but you can focus the most of your efforts on the promotional while still paying attention to the transactional and the gigantic revenue boost you're leaving on the table there, and pay very close attention to the relational if you want to have a true well-rounded email marketing plan in your business. So let's dive into each of these different categories of email. But first, let's take a look at a email stat. So the average revenue per transactional email, okay, transactional, not promotional, is 2 to 5 times more, or is 2 to 5 times higher than standard bulk email. Now this is something that Experian included in their latest email benchmark report. So let's dive into types of transactional emails. So order confirmations, all right? If you're currently selling things online, whether it's access to digital information or physical products, or you're setting appointments for people to come into your brick and mortar store, or you're sending out coupons or email reminders of purchases that happen live and in person, you're sending out order confirmations. Now, more than likely, you've always just considered that something that your CRM or your shopping cart does, and you've never looked at ways to optimize that. But I'll tell you, it has one of the highest open rates and has 2 to 5% more revenue than a standard bulk email, because you know exactly what they're interested in. Now, we'll break down this concept a little bit more as we get into campaign structuring. But if I leave you with nothing here, leave with this. You need to look at ways to maximize your confirmation emails, maximize your transactional emails. Think about how transactional emails can expedite that customer journey. So order confirmations, purchase receipts, shipping notifications. Think about this. People are the most engaged and the most excited at a couple of points in the buying process that most of us completely ignore. I know personally, when I make a purchase, it's an exciting time, right? There's this chemical reaction that happens that makes me happy. It's, you know, consumerism, right? But it's not at all unnormal, right? Unnormal. It's not at all uncommon for this to happen. So we release a happy chemical when we make an order, right? When we make a purchase. Now we're reminded of that purchase when we get a shipping notification. We're reminded of that happy time very recently when we just purchased something. We would probably be more open to purchasing an additional something at this time, but most of us strictly ignore these. Account creation, right? For those of you who have online membership sites or SaaS companies as a software, or anything that requires a account creation, this is another time where I've now taken a positive movement forward with your brand. And I may have gotten a little bit uncomfortable, right? It may have been a little odd for me. I may have stepped out a little bit because I don't necessarily know you and your brand. Account creation is one of those transactional emails to where, 1, you can reaffirm the decision, 2, keep them excited, and 3, ask them to ascend. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your current email marketing efforts. Return confirmations. Most people completely ignore these because they're trying to minimize the contact at this point, right? Something negative has happened. You've asked for your money back, so I should retreat, all right? I should retreat and not say much because I don't want to offend you more. That's not the case at all. In fact, if you're honoring a return policy, if you're a company like Nordstrom, for instance, that they'll take anything back at any time, You see them marketing to those customers with return confirmations. Why? Why would you do that? Well, because you know that they just had a positive experience. They took something that didn't work for them and they let you know about it. They were able to return it. They had a positive experience, but now they're void whatever it is that they bought. It's the perfect time to make another offer to get them to ascend or to re-engage in your customer journey. You don't want that journey to stop. So think about your return confirmation emails. Support tickets. Support tickets can be a great method of ascension. Password reminders. Unsubscribe confirmations, and we'll talk about optimizing that a little later, but unsubscribe confirmations are a great way to, now in compliance with CAN-SPAM Act, but to confirm that someone's been unsubscribed and give them additional ways to communicate with you and your brand. Maybe it's on social media, right? You could say, not an email person, connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it is, wherever your brand is, wherever your consumers spend the most time, at the point at which they're choosing to disengage with your email marketing efforts, now's the time to try to get them to re-engage with you on another property so that you can bring them back at some point in time, hopefully welcome them back into your email database. All right, so those are the different types of transactional emails. Now, companies using email to nurture leads generate 50% more sales-ready leads at 33% lower cost. Now, this is from HubSpot. So what does that mean? You have to be sending content, free, ungated content to your list. You have to, right? If you strictly live in the promotional side and you're only asking or taking, and never putting any goodwill, putting anything in the bank as far as relational value is concerned, then eventually your subscribers will get tired of you only asking for money from them, right? So it's so important that not only do you have a content plan, but that you're thinking about it as it pertains to your promotional plan. And we'll get to that in the promotional calendar planning section. But if you haven't gone through our content marketing mastery course, once you're done with this one, I highly suggest that you go back and go through the content marketing mastery course and let Russ tell you how we at Digital Marketer integrate email, content, and social. So let's take a deep dive and look at some examples of relational emails, because it's not just content, right? It's not just, hey, I created a new blog post. Hey, I did this new piece of free content. Let's go ahead and define relational emails as anything that follows through on the promise that you've made to your subscriber. So if a subscriber is new to your brand, that very first welcome email that you send out is a relational email. In fact, it's probably the most important relational email. And we're going to break that down in line item by line item detail later in the training. Next, a lead magnet delivery, or just a delivery of whatever it is that the customer requested. If they requested a coupon code, if they requested a lead magnet or a report or access to anything free, that initial email delivery and confirmation of the receipt of that is relational. It's following through on a commitment that you made to your subscriber. Now, your newsletters and blog articles are a great example of relational emails. That's more value in advance. It's giving them a reason to trust you. It's giving them free content. It's also getting them excited about something that you may talk about later and allow them to ascend from just ungated free content to premium paid content. You may be creating awareness of a problem that you have the solution to. So make sure to keep that in mind. A webinar confirmation email, if you deploy webinars or meetings in your business, once someone commits to that time, just simply following up and confirming with that is a relational email. It's one that's typically thought of almost like the order confirmations. It's something that my system sends out. I shouldn't have to think about it at all, and it just happens. Well, one, if it doesn't happen, that's a problem. And two, if you're not thinking very closely about what these emails are saying, then you're potentially stopping the customer's journey instead of keeping them go on their merry way from stranger to promoter. Surveys and review requests are great relational emails. Social updates, think about this for a second, all right? Think about this. When Facebook or Twitter wants you to know something about their platform, what do? Do they tweet you? Or do they post a Facebook update on your wall or timeline? No, of course not. They send you an email, right? Email is not going anywhere, and it's very important. So if you have an important social update, email your list, email your subscribers, email your database, and let them know about it. If you're excited about it, they should be excited about it. That's something that you need to start, you need to actually start thinking about now, right? And a lot of the times, just understanding that you are an expert, you are an authority, and if your subscriber base needs to be excited about it, it's your job to tell them to be excited about it, all right? Now, contests and announcements, another big relational email, keeping people engaged, referral requests, all examples of relational emails. One of the things that I want you to do when we get to the end of this section is I'd like you to stop and write out all the different types of relational emails and transactional emails that you send. We're going to dive a lot into the promotional aspect and promotional emails, but I don't want to forget about these two very important categories of email. So we're going to go through one more section. We'll be done with this video, and at that time I'd like you to pause and get out a sheet of paper and write out all the promotional emails that you currently send out, all the transactional emails you currently send out. All right, and we'll come back to that a little later. So, another fact about email marketing, 66% of consumers have made a purchase online as a direct result of an email marketing message. This is another one from the Direct Marketing Association. So what types of promotional emails are you using or should you be using in your business? So promotional content, all right? Promotional content. Content with the purpose of not only providing value first, but also teeing up a sale, right? Teeing up potentially a campaign that's going to trigger off that's relevant to the content that you sent out. New lead magnets, whether it's case studies or podcasts, anything that you've created of value that is free, but it is gated, right? Anything that you're going to request an action to receive. Sale announcements, right? This is where most people live, and honestly, it's not that bad of a place. Think mattress store. We're going to talk a lot about that later. A new product release. Again, if you're excited about something, your subscribers should be excited about something. And if you're expanding a product line or launching a new one, that's something that both you and presumably your subscriber base should be excited about, and you need to leverage in your promotional emails. Webinar announcements or live meeting announcements, event announcements if you use events in your business, trial offers, upgrade offers. These promotional emails, or these are all types of promotional emails that you could and arguably probably should be using in your business. But again, we're going to break down each and every one of these when we talk about campaign creation later on. Well, you may be asking, won't some of these emails that are promotional be relational in nature? And the answer is absolutely. In fact, some of the transactional will be relational, some of the promotional will be transactional. And in the next video, we're going to talk about the primary goal of each email and how we gauge success. So I'll see you in just a minute.